need of rankings in higher education institution. We talked about how the rankings are different from accreditation. We also looked into the various categories under NIRF and the parameters included under this ranking framework. Now in this video, we will be talking about the first parameter, which is teaching, learning and resources. Now this parameter includes four metrics: A, B, C and D. These four metrics are student strength including doctoral students, faculty student ratio with emphasis on permanent faculty, combined metric for faculty with PhD or equivalent and experience, and fourth metric is financial resources and their utilizations. Now these metrics have been allotted certain marks, and the marks are 20, 30, 20 and 30 respectively. Now we'll go through each of these metrics. The first metric is student strength including doctoral students. It carries 20 marks. To understand how we can perform well in each of these metrics, we need to understand the formula which has been derived by NIRF. The formula in this case, SS is equal to F of NT and NE multiplied by 15 plus F of NP into 5. Now you have three important numbers over here: NT, NE and NP. What are these? NT is total sanctioned approved intake of your institution. NE is total number of students enrolled, and NP is total number of students enrolled for the doctoral program. Now here you see that NT and NE, they are multiplied by a factor of 15. However, NP is multiplied by a factor of 5. That means out of these 20 marks to this matrix, maximum weightage, that is weightage of 15, goes to the students enrolled for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. However, additional factor of 5 the institute they can get if they have research centers and the students enrolled for doctoral programs. So the best way to get maximum marks under this metric is to ensure that the number of students enrolled is close to the total sanctioned approved intake, and the benefit of enrollment of doctoral programs can also be taken under this metric. Now the second metric is faculty student ratio with emphasis on permanent faculty, FSR, carrying 30 marks. Again, if you have a look at the formula for deriving FSR, it says that FSR is equal to 30 multiplied by 15 into F upon N. Now what is F here? F is number of full-time regular faculty, and N, as we have seen in the earlier matrix, is addition of NT, that is approved intake, plus NP, that is number of students enrolled for PhD. Now you just look at this possible calculation over here. If F upon N for your institution is 1 upon 15, so the number that you get here is 15 into 1 upon 15, that means 1, and 30 multiplied by 1 will be 30. So you can get maximum of 30 marks if your faculty to number of students ratio is 1:15. So idea of getting maximum marks under this matrix is having your faculty to student ratio close to 1:15. However, if your number exceeds 1:50, then F upon N for this metric will be set to 0, resulting your FSR to be 0 as well. Now many teachers and the institutes, they would be wondering that there are many teachers which are not permanent in their institutions. So NIRF says that if ad hoc teachers are there who are working on full-time basis for both the semesters. Such teachers can also be considered as full-time teachers in this matrix. The third metric under this parameter is combined metric for faculty with PhD or equivalent and experience. It carries 20 marks. So this FQE is now divided into two parts. One is faculty with PhD, that is FRA, and another, that is experience. So accordingly, you can see that the total marks for this matrix are distributed equally between faculty qualification and faculty experience. Now have a look at faculty qualification. So NIRF methodology believes that there can be institutions which are having less than 95% of faculties with PhD or 95% or more faculties with PhD. So your institution, if it is having less than 95% of faculties with PhD, the formula which is applied is FQ is equal to 10 into FRA upon 95, where FRA is the percentage of faculties having PhD. So assume that your institution is having say 85% of faculties with PhD, then the output will be 10 multiplied by 85 upon 95. That means this FQ will be less than 10. So if your institution wants to have maximum marks under this factor, then it should have number of PhDs that is 95% or more. Now the second part under this matrix is experience. Now this again has been classified into three parts: fraction with experience up to 8 years, fraction with experience between 8 to 15 years, and fraction with experience more than 15 years. Now what is expected here is an equal proportion among these three categories. So if your institution is having 1:1:1 ratio of the faculties with experience of 8 years, 8 to 15 years and more than 15 years, then full marks will be provided. So again, the idea is to ensure that you are close to this ratio of 1:1:1 so that you get 10 marks over here. Now the last metric under this parameter is financial resources and their utilization, which carries 30 marks. Now this FRU is based on two factors. One is BC and another is BO. Now this BC is average annual capital expenditure per student for the previous 3 years, excluding construction of new buildings, and BO is average annual operational or recurring expenditure per student for the previous 3 years, excluding maintenance of hostels and allied service. So now you see here that BO is multiplied by a factor of 22.5 and BC is multiplied by a factor of 7.5. That means marks under this matrix rely more on BO, that is your recurring or operational expenditures. Therefore, to get maximum marks, you have to ensure that the expenditure per student should be on the higher side, and more so in case of BO, that is operational or recurring expenditures. Thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, we will be talking about parameter number 2, that is research and professional practice. Thank you.